Alright, next up is gardening tip that I invented by myself 1,000 billion trillion percent last night. Like I said, I was on a roll last night. I had a lot of good ideas, from food to gardening. So what I did was, I was dumping all my pots of soils and dirts and rocks and all that crap onto a tarp to mix it, and I got it all mixed up, and I was like, okay, there's got to be a way to make this stuff lighter so that I don't have to keep filling these things with rocks at the bottom, to keep it from blowing away and stuff, and not to be wasting all the good topsoil that you can buy. I mean, it's not expensive, but it's not cheap. And so instead of running out of good soil, like potting soil, what I decided was I still had 2 huge garbage bags filled with leaves and old hosta tops that's just been sitting there through the winter, and it hasn't really broken down or anything. But, I figured I'm going to try putting leaves in the bottom of these big, heavy clay pots, and even the plastic ones weigh a lot too. If you invert them inside of each other to save space on dirt or whatever, just to fill them. So I figured, put a bunch of leaves in there, and it worked. It was super light, and so I just put like a huge mountain of them in the bottom of this pot, sprinkled some dirt, shook it a little, and then patted it down, and then I added more dirt, more leaves, dirt, leaves, dirt. I only did 2 layers, and lifted it up, and it was literally, it was not heavy. It was light as air, really, because it's leaves. It's not really that heavy. And the thing of it is, leaves don't tightly compact like rocks and other stuff. They don't tightly compact either, but they're heavy, and that sucks. But leaves are loose enough, light enough, and allow for aeration, nutrition when they do eventually decompose, because bugs and everything are going to get in your pots if you leave them outside. So if you use leaf foliage and stuff like that in there, it's lighter, it's healthier, it aerates the roots to your plants. When they grow down, they'll rip those leaves apart and munch them into nutrients for the plants. So you're literally saving money on Miracle-Gro and all that other dirt potting soil and stuff. And the soil I have is like from the last decade, and all my plants grow fine. I just keep mixing it every year and growing different things. That's importantly, grow different plants in different pots every year. Flowers, vegetables, herbs. I do everything. And I think it's really cool that putting leaves in the bottom of a pot, and I'm not talking just a little, you gotta add like a half a foot, because it'll shrink down. So you want to start with a lot, and then add a thin layer of dirt, and then add more leaves if you need to. It depends on how big the pot is. I'm going to do a smaller one to plant my herbs in later, and I really think that the basil will do good with that. So that's my tip. Leaves on the bottom of the pot to lighten them up, but it will still be heavy enough that, you won't have to worry about them blowing over in the wind if you get a strong wind like we do here in the Midwest, or, throwing out your back in case, say, like, it happens to me all the time, is we get quick storms that pop up, and you have to run around and gather like 50 pots, because I love growing stuff. And if you want to drag them inside or under shelter, you have to throw out your back. I mean, I've never thrown out my back, maybe like once, but some of those pots weigh over 100 pounds, but if you replace half the dirt with leaves, it really does save you a lot of time, effort, and dragging pots and lifting pots and everything, and it's just simpler. Alright. These are my pots that I did, and you can see that there's a bit of a spring to it. And this is a plastic one, rather big. I'd say like 30 gallon. This is probably just a 4 gallon clay pot, and it's springy too. And ready for planting. This one needs a lot more dirt because you can still see the leaves. But I'm going to do my marigolds because I haven't done those in a couple years. These are like 12 generations that I've started when I was a kid. This is my seed bag. Here's how I'm going to do it. I got these bags of leaves from last fall. Ugh. Alright, here we go. Just gonna take some with hosta. Corn, like, corn grows everywhere around here. You can take that out if you want to leave it in there, but just make sure it covers the drainage holes. Because it's going to go through it anyways. Marigolds grow pretty darn good in strong roots, so you don't need to add too many. But I'm going to fill it at least halfway because the dirt I'm going to put in now is going to weigh it all down. Make sure it's about halfway up. And then, empty this with rock. Oh, actually, I can use this. And take our wonderful dirt that sat overnight and it dried on the surface. And as you do this, you can see how moist it still is underneath. Just got a rock. Let's get rid of that. Alright, scoop right on top of the leaves. Shake it, push it down. More dirt. And just keep filling to the line. Then I'm going to put my seeds in it. And this should hopefully grow them better. And cheaper. And lighter. By the way, look at this. This is like a 30-40 gallon thing. Moving it with one finger with ease. Because it's got leaves, not a bunch of rocks. But it's still not going anywhere because of the winds or anything. Because it's still heavy because it's got the dirt in it. So that is my garden tip. Leaves, then dirt, not lava rock or broken heavy pot, because that stuff really is heavy. So that is my tip to making lighter pots for planting for your garden. Put leaves and dirt in the bottom. Simple. Just don't put rocks, don't put broken clay pots, don't put anything else in the bottom. All you need is leaves. Aeration, nutrition, lightweight. And they grow back every year, so if you're thinking of taking several thousand trips to the dump, go right ahead. Or just feed it into your garden, into your pots and plants. Simple. Bye-bye.